In this video, I'm going to reveal it all, the $100 million AI client acquisition system that is taking over the market right now. Now, I obviously haven't generated 100 million personally from this system. I've probably contributed to maybe adding 1 million to my clients and myself's pipelines, but I'm not the only one in the world that's using this. I know a lot of people that are starting to use this AI client acquisition system, and I personally know them. I know people that have added $10 million to their clients' sales. I know people that have added $5 million, and it's probably safe to say people are adding $100 million in sales opportunities all around the world using this AI client acquisition system. These are my personal results. As you can see, we have added companies, 231,000. We've added companies 40,000. We've added 7,000. This one here is 1.5K per package, so you can do the maths there. We've added people tons and tons of opportunities right here. We've added 150,000, almost 150,000 over there. People are seeing tremendous results, including myself. And this is just some of the responses I typically get. I mean, people will say, I'm interested, things like that. This is typical. But, I get messages like this all the time saying, hey, this is one of the best outreach messages I've seen. And then they will just ask me to book them straight into a meeting. I mean, we've not seen that many times. People say, hey, this is one of the best emails I've received. I get that a lot, trust me. Not only I get, hey, you look young a lot, but I also get that. That's my probably second thing that I get a lot often. And I'll show you this recent campaign actually that I ran for my company that actually got me these results. This is what the email looked like. So this is me trying to talk to a bunch of agency owners about setting up an AI onboarding system for their agency. And this is a campaign that I ran recently that got me these messages. Right? And really what I've highlighted here that makes this email so cool and unique and gets performance at the end of the day, because that's really that matters. It's not some gimmick, right? We only care about results. And that is the actual first line personalized icebreaker. The AI personalized icebreaker buys us about 10, maybe 20 seconds of reading time, which is all we really need for them to actually look at the rest of the email and think we actually wrote it personalized to them, right? This is our time to create some curiosity with our first email. That's all we want. We don't want to bombard them with everything. We just want to create curiosity with our first email. Now, I'll break down the science behind the copy a little bit down the line here. We'll go into depth here. But there's really 3 primary reasons why this system works so well. Not only for me, not only for my clients, but for hundreds of people out there, including probably you. Is number 1, it's super targeted lead sourcing. So we're targeting people that are signaling some sort of pain intent. We're targeting people that are exact ICP. And number 2 is actually because of the personalization, which we just gone through. And the third one, which sounds obvious, but people don't think about this, is 100% deliverability on your emails. So if we send 1,000 emails, we expect all of 1,000 to actually land in our inboxes for our prospects. We don't want 50% of them to not land. We don't want 25% to not land. We want 100% to land. And that is really the driving force of people actually looking at your email, right? So in this video, I'm pulling back the curtains. I'm going to show you exactly how we perfect those 3 systems using those 3 pillars, using AI, using strategies, and just a bunch of knowledge. So we're going to drop everything here and we're going to review the curtain. So how do I find the leads? Now, I look for places where there's high friction. And when I say high friction, I mean places where if you want to have these leads, you have to either pay money, you have to have some sort of technical expertise to have access to these leads, or maybe a strong network. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So pay attention to my process here. So we're going to start with first, I'm going to reveal the tools here. So the start of this beautiful system is actually going to be Sales Navigator. That's what we use to actually source the leads. We map our exact ICP and then we extract the leads from Sales Navigator. And we use Phantom Buster to actually extract the leads from Sales Navigator. We use AnyMail Finder, which is a fantastic email finding tool. We use Never Bounce to make sure we don't get any bounces on our emails to protect our sender. It's called sender's reputation, which ensures us that we get 100% deliverability from our email accounts. And we use ChatGPT to obviously personalize the copy. And the actual data points the personalization takes from is back to the LinkedIn Sales Navigator, where we have people's summaries, people's past job experiences, and we use all that data to write a nice, simple, personalized Icebreaker, which buys us that 10-20 second reading time. One of the things I really like about this tool set is not everybody can just use these tools. And the reason for that, especially at scale, is because you need technical expertise to set up an automation to gel all these tools together so you can do this for thousands and thousands of leads. You need AI automation expertise, but also you need a lot of money because these tools are expensive, right? I mean, they all add up. They're all about $100, 69, 149, 50. All these start to add up. You also have make operations, which is going to add a little bit. Now, I personally have partnerships with a bunch of these software, so I can get away with it. But regardless, most people are going to be deterred by that $400 startup cost associated with sending a cold email. And even people that are okay with paying that, they're like, oh, that's nothing to me, right? I'm an established agency owner. I'm already paying tons of ads. This is nothing. I can pay that. You still require technical expertise and time that you need to invest to build automations that allow you to actually do this for thousands and thousands of leads. Anybody can just take one lead from Sales Navigator, put it in any mail finder, find their emails, put it in ChatGPT. But you can't do that for 1,000 leads. That's going to take forever. You need a system. And to build that system, you need AI expertise. And we bypass all the beginners who are just trying to target people for their agency. That's not really an agency. And, we can even go one step further in our lead sourcing to really get people that are untapped, get the juice out of these leads. And that is because I see too many people just target the US. That's a big problem I see people do. Now, that's just lazy and I think oversaturated. Obviously, I'm not saying don't target the US, but we do have the whole globe to play around with. So maybe, dip your toes in other foreign entities. And I'm talking about things that are like high-paying English-speaking countries. There are tons out there. Like, think of your Dubai, Netherlands, Australia is a good one, New Zealand, Canada, Switzerland, Singapore, Japan, and Hong Kong. There are tons and tons of countries out there. Think of especially Europe. Think of Oceania. That's a really good one. And the Middle East. That's also a really good one. So tons and tons of countries out there. Even, North America with Canada. Definitely don't forget these countries. People are not going to think to target these countries at all. Everybody just goes straight to the US, which is fine. This is still going to make the personalization and the email system is still going to make you stand out amongst those crowd, but you're just amplifying your effect by just targeting these countries that are not often targeted by people. So we're just adding to the layer. But let's actually get to the actual science of the copywriting. So I'll show you the copy here. But before we do that, let's actually go over subject lines. Now, there are only really two rules with subject lines, right? You want to keep it short and show some indication of personalization. And rule number 2, just follow rule number 1. That's really all that is to it. Here are some tested subject lines that I have personally tested that have performed the best, so feel free to use them. And you'll see a pattern amongst here. So things like just very simple, hi, first name. You want to make it seem like you're writing it to a friend or like a company coworker who's just emailed you. You don't want to do something like, hey, do you want to improve your sales by 200%? That sounds like a salesman. I absolutely do not want to write that in your subject line. That is going to make people associate you with spam. So don't do that. Just write something like first name thoughts. First name might be right up your alley. That's a top performer always. So keep that in mind. But yeah, with subject line, you don't want to overthink it. Just you see the patterns and when you see what I'm trying to talk to you about this. So either use these or come up with your own. But remember, follow rule number 1. Keep it short and show some personalization. You want to really do anything to make them just open the email because people are not going to remember your subject line. Even if it sounds hacky and it's like a little gimmicky, just do whatever it takes for them to open the email, right? As soon as they open the email, they forgot about your subject line. Nobody cares. So even if it's like on the gray area, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Now, in terms of the copy, this is the general structure that I like to follow here. So this is the copy that I sent out that you saw earlier about the AI onboarding system. And you see there's multiple components to it, right? The first one is the icebreaker. That is the AI personalized icebreaker. You see that here. Fantastic. Looks very casual. And this is the rest of the email. So you have I like to do who am I for the first line because you see someone's email, the first thing you think of is who is this person? And I like to clarify that right away. So I say, hey, I'm in the AI business space. And this is a great opportunity for you to put some social proof. So instead of saying, hey, my name is John, I run this company, which is fine. You can say, hey, my name's John, I've generated $1 million for B2B companies. There we go, right? That's still covering the who am I ground, but you're also tying in some social proof. And this is just going to help us lower the word count, right? So you don't want to be redundant. Now, the second part is going to be, what can I do for you, right? You want to get to the point, tell them why you emailed them, what you're looking to do with them. So you can put that in there. The last point in terms of the actual rest of the copy is the soft CTA. I really like soft CTAs. I don't like hard CTAs where it's like reply yes and we can get it going right away, because that is very outbound. We're trying to stand out here. You want to almost make this no pressure, extremely soft CTA. Like, hey, I'm just seeing if there's some interest here. What do you think? That's it. Leave it up to them and you go from there. And usually I always like to add a PS statement, just because PS statements are the most read part of the email. So you want to use this PS statement to either reinforce your offer or add more to the who am I section, right? You can give a little taste of who you are at the start, and then with the PS statement, you can validate who you are even more, build some social proof. So you can say like, hey, I have a YouTube channel with 100,000 subscribers, check it out. Or if you don't know, if you're skeptical, please Google me, right? That's gonna really help you get a higher status with email. And at the end, I like to add a little send from an iPhone or send from my iPhone, just to make it seem like it's typed from your hand, right? The whole feel of the copy itself, you're trying to replicate someone at the bus station, or you at the bus station typing it out on your phone as you wait for the bus. You're typing to that prospect on your phone as you wait for the bus. That's the sentiment that we're trying to create, so keep that in mind. Now, we are just looking to start a conversation with our email copy. Please remember that, because I see people trying to cram in so many things, and that's not what we're trying to do. So make sure you keep it super casual, have some personalization in there. Use ugly numbers. What I mean by that is, a lot of people say I have generated $10,000, maybe 10K. If you say that, it's just not as believable as you could say I've generated around 13.7K. That sounds much more calculated and genuine than 10K or rounded numbers. So make sure you use ugly numbers whenever the case presents. So instead of saying, hey, I can get you 10 clients, say 7. You can even say maybe 7. Adds to the realism. And make sure you have a low pressure CTA. That's what I would go for. Another big thing with cold email that I do is speed. This is extremely, extremely important. When campaigns start and you start getting positive replies, make sure you reply quick. These are your hottest leads. These are prospects that you should really treat like golden nuggets. They're interested in buying your service. So treat them responsibly, right? Make sure you reply fast. Even if you're out or even if you're busy, just say something like, hey, just came back from the grocery store. We'll get back to you within the hour here. Just gonna put away my stuff here. Even a response like that just buys you some time, and people appreciate that. So make sure you respond fast. I'm talking 1 to 2 minutes. Really, ideally. You want to get the notification on your phone, and within 1 to 2 minutes, you're on it. That's the pace you want to be at, especially for positive responses. Responding to leads within 60 seconds increases your sales by 400%. Now, I didn't create the stat. This is from Harvard Business Review, or Alex Hormozi. They both say it. So whichever floats your boat, this is a fact. You can 4x your sales just by responding to leads within 60 seconds. So it's a little important, wouldn't you say? The third component, how do we get 100% deliverability, right? How do we actually get that in terms of, what makes it different? Why do we get 100% deliverability, but maybe you don't if you set this up on your own? Well, the reason I do it is because we do something called warming up the emails, right? So let's say you purchase an email inbox on day 1 and you warm the emails up. Now, what that means is we're trying to replicate, especially on new email accounts, a pattern of behavior where it seems like we're just a normal sender. We're not trying to signal to the Google or Microsoft that we are automating the system. We're trying to make it seem like human behavior. So you buy a new email account on day 1, and the first day you send out 1 email. The second day you send out 2 emails. The third day you send out 3 emails. You eventually do this for usually people do this about 14 to 21 days. Doing it for 30 days is even better. So if you can do it for 30 days, that's always going to be better. So eventually you start to pick up the pace and you're starting to get to like 10 emails a day, right? Around about day 14, you're going to get to 10 emails a day. You start sending 10. You monitor the spam rates. And then you're going to see eventually after about 21 to 30 days, your email accounts are going to be all warmed up. And that's when you start sending out 20 to 30 emails per day, per inbox, right? So if you want to send out 1,000 emails, you need around 33 inboxes. So you buy 33 inboxes on day one, you warm them up for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then you start to send out 20 to 30 emails per day from one inbox. And that's how you get 100% deliverability. So doing it all this way, putting this all together, you have this AI acquisition system that is generating people millions of dollars as we speak. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to this in terms of the technical setup and the AI systems you need to build to handle this. There's a lot more you can go into, but I don't want to keep this video forever. So that is just a general, very broad overlook on the AI acquisition system. This whole system holds very near and dear to my heart. It changed my life. Okay, I'm not just saying in terms of like monetary results, but just my mental thinking, limiting beliefs. It broke everything, right? I didn't think it was possible for me to be able to automate client acquisition, right? I thought, okay, I have to do some sort of input, and there's going to be some direct correlation between input and output, the clients I get, right? I either have to cold call, and then it's going to be a numbers game, or I have to record videos, which is, inputting a certain amount of value and you get it back. And videos are probably the closest thing to automating client acquisition over cold email, but videos take time. Content takes time. Cold email doesn't. You can set this up tomorrow and start getting positive responses the next day, within 24 hours. The same night you can get meetings booked, which is crazy. And the first time it happened, completely broke my limiting beliefs. And ever since then, this system has been incredible. It's done very well for me, very well for my clients, and very well for a lot of my friends that I know in the same space. So yeah, it has been incredible. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you got a little bit of an idea on when people say AI client acquisition. I'm sure you're going to start to hear this a lot from people reaching out to you, just people in the industry in general. This is what they kind of mean. This is probably what they mean. It's probably something to do with cold email AI client acquisition. Right? It might be something else, but most of the time, this is what they're talking about. So I hope it helped, and I'll see you guys next time.